Hi warriors, welcome back to my channel. Have you smiled today? My name is Sami and today we're going to talk about how good it feels, how amazing it feels and what it looks like, what it feels like to recover from anxiety. So let's get started. Um, I don't know how bad it feels for you, but I can tell you what anxiety like was for me. The truth is, anxiety was like a constant argument in my head. The fighting never stopped. There was a war going on inside of me that never stopped. And that's what made dealing with the outside world so difficult. To do regular everyday tasks, it made it so difficult. But this is what I want you to take away from this video today. If you suffer from anxiety and you're working through it, I want you to feel so good about yourself for doing that. I'm going to tell you what it feels like to be on the other side, to be actually not feel anxious and to not go through what you're going through right now. And I'm going to tell you how rewarding it is and how it sets you free as a person to be able to conquer your anxiety. So the first thing I want you to know is that the fighting and the arguments in your head, it stops or it's not as frequent anymore. So you know how when you're in public or you're trying to accomplish something, you're trying to do a task, you're trying to work, you're trying to focus, and you feel completely foggy or you're distracted, you're not able to concentrate. All of that goes away and you start feeling amazing because your head is clear. You can focus. You can do way more than what you could do while you were anxious. Your productivity, your efficiency, and what you're able to do, what you're able to accomplish really, really goes up. And that's when you start seeing your performance to your full potential. Isn't that an amazing place to be? All right, next up, we think about fight or flight response for anxiety, right? That's what happens. It's hugely dictated by fight or flight. And that was our natural response in prehistoric times. But now, when you have anxiety, you have that kind of reaction to everyday triggers. That's the difference between having anxiety and not having anxiety. But I'm here to tell you, your fight and flight response, something that makes you so confrontational right now, or something that makes you so fearful right now, over the simplest things like driving to the grocery store or dealing with a certain person, all of that goes away. That fear that you feel, it goes away. So imagine somebody that you're really, really anxious about interacting with right now. Imagine showing up and not feeling anything. Imagine being able to hold a conversation as articulate as you really are, as eloquent as you really are with that person. Imagine making a presentation at work, which you were not able to do because of anxiety. But now you suddenly don't feel that fear anymore. You feel the confidence instead. You feel the self belief instead. So, what will happen is that you're going to show up and you're going to do all the things that you were too crippled to do before. And that's the beauty of recovery. And I can't wait until you get there and you feel that. If you're already there, please leave a comment. Let me know how recovery was for you. I would love to know what your journey sounded like. I would love to know what your journey felt like. Please leave a comment and let me know and share what you went through and what you felt. All right, next. You know how you're always irritable and sometimes you lash out or sometimes you can't control your reactions? All of those things are going to come under your control. A huge part of having anxiety is not having control over certain reactions. Your triggers are so strong and your reactions are so strong to those triggers that sometimes you can't help yourself, right? And isn't that actually one of the things that makes you so scared to be out there? Isn't that one of the things that cripples you from working at your full potential? So imagine that not being there anymore. Imagine you have everything under control, that even if a trigger happens, you're not going to have a super fast, irritated response. You can take a breath. You can slow yourself down. You can do that at will. And guess what? you can perfectly customize the response you want to put out. You know how this affects you in an everyday life? When your boss says something, you come out with the right response. When your friend says something inappropriate, you come out with the right response in the right way, in an assertive way. How amazing is that? Wouldn't you love to be there? And guess what? You can be too. You have to believe in yourself. All right, next up, we have empathy and forgiveness. Now, it's a very negative place. Being anxious is a very negative place. Everything is usually perceived negatively, and everything is actually taken very personally too, isn't it? But it's not going to be like that forever. I'm here to tell you, you're going to feel empathy from within. You're going to feel forgiveness from within. And here's the beautiful part. Forgiveness is not for the other people. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is to set your soul free. Forgiveness is to let the burden fall off your shoulder. And you're going to know that, and you're going to do that at will. You're going to forgive people who hurt you. You're going to forgive people who annoyed you. You're going to do that like that. And once you do that, you're going to feel more and more amazing. You're going to feel stronger every time you forgive. I can't begin to tell you how much of that affects you and cripples you. The negativity that completely hogs your brain and tells you, no, it's like this. No, they're talking about you. No, they're thinking about you. No, they're laughing at you. No, it's not like that. Your brain is creating lies. Your brain is creating alternate realities that completely fogs up your brain. Honestly, once the fog lifts, you're going to feel so good. You're going to feel empathy for somebody else's journey. You're going to feel empathy for somebody else's pain. And you're going to realize something else. Most people, if they're hurtful, or if they're hurting you, or if they said something that really bothered you, it's not about you. That's the beauty of recovery from anxiety. You don't take things personally anymore. It's not about you, it's about them. They're struggling with somebody or something, or they wouldn't do that, or they were struggling with something, or they wouldn't say that to you. You're going to realize that and you're going to believe it. And that's what's going to set you free. You're going to be able to forgive those people and move on. Crippling. Anxiety is crippling. We know that, right? Well, one of the things that was really, really hard for me was the constant worrying. Now, I gotta tell you, like, as a brown guy, this came from my parents. My parents are the king and queen of worrying. They never stop worrying. They worry about every possible thing you can think of. Like, I mean, seriously, they worry about their children, they worry about their health, they worry about the next day, they worry about what they're gonna cook. I mean, it doesn't stop. Don't even get me started. But honestly, I didn't realize how much I worried about trivial matters. And it totally occupied my brain and stopped me from focusing on what was really important at that time. And second, the worrying is just excessive and it becomes crippling. You when you worry about every little thing, honestly, your brain is so congested, so occupied, so crippled to do anything else. But imagine what happens when you actually stop worrying, when you let the little things slide. Have you ever read that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff? Someday I'll do a book review on that book. Now, it's true. When you're anxious, you can't help it. You have to forgive yourself for that too. When you're anxious, you worry about the small stuff. You sweat the small stuff. You don't know any different. I empathize with you. I understand where you are because I've been there myself. I couldn't help it. I worried about everything because I couldn't do it any better. But once you recover, it's not like that anymore. You honestly don't sweat the small stuff. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to consciously block it out. Your brain is rewired now. It does it for you. And so you don't even have to worry about not worrying about the small stuff. Isn't that an amazing place to be? Okay, let's talk about something really deep. Um, I'm going to explain it as the voice in your head. We all have a voice in our head, right? And this voice constantly talks to you. This voice tells you how to think, tells you how to feel, It tells you what to analyze, tells you what to overanalyze. This voice actually, if you think about it, doesn't shut up very often, does it? So maybe it doesn't have to. That's what I'm trying to say. The voice in your head is how you think. That's the real you talking to you. But if the voice in your head is dominated by depression or dominated by anxiety, the way it talks to you is actually not very positive, is it? Tell me, does the voice in your head constantly criticize you? Does the voice in your head constantly points out the negative in other people? Does the voice in your head judge you all the time for something that was not done perfectly? The voice in your head, does it tell you that you are not worth it? The voice in your head, does it tell you you can't do it? So this is where your recovery comes in. We're all working on rewiring our brain. That's exactly how it works. To recover from anxiety, you rewire your brain and you literally change the way the brain thinks and perceives things, right? Well, it changes the voice in your head as well. The way you talk to yourself is going to be very different then. You're not going to be as judgmental on yourself anymore. You're not going to be as self-critical anymore. You're not going to crucify yourself for every mistake made. You're not going to think back for, I don't know if you were like me, years later think about, oh, I said that stupid thing at that party or something trivial like that. This is what will stop automatically and is like, honestly, it will set you free. The voice in your head will actually practice self-care. It will actually practice self-love. You don't have to force it to do that anymore. Once you work through your recovery and get to your recovery, you will actually feel you are good. You are perfect as you are. You are exactly how you were meant to be. You don't have to criticize yourself. In fact, criticizing yourself is not going to get you any further. It's actually going to dampen your potential. What criticizing will do for you is stop you and make you feel crappy about yourself. When every step of the way, if you want to get to the other side, you have to feel awesome about yourself. You have to know what a warrior you are. You have to give yourself credit for how hard you're fighting to get to the other side. Right? That's the way you propel yourself forward. That's the way you cheerlead for yourself. And once you get there, the voice inside your head will change. It will applaud you. It will give you due credit. It will stop criticizing you for every small mistake. And I can't wait once again for you to get there and feel what that feels like. Let's talk about phobias. When you have anxiety, you have certain phobias. Like I had simple things like driving, for example, to a certain place or driving past a certain area, whatever it is. I know it's hard to relate to if you know, everybody's anxiety is different. You will be triggered by different things. You will have different symptoms and you will have different reactions. But those phobias are going to be manageable. Suddenly you'll have more courage, more guts than you thought you had. And you're going to be able to do those things that you were so scared of. For some people, it could be about making a presentation. For some people, it could be simply about talking to a boy that they like, or reaching out through social media to a group that they really want to be a part of. Whatever it is, honestly, the phobias either will cease to exist or will lessen, diminish to a point where it will be manageable. It's not going to hold you back forever. So even if you're super scared about something right now, I want you to take heart from this video and know it will not do that forever. You're going to come out on top and you're going to conquer this phobia. Some of these things may require professional help, and I urge you to take professional help. I am not a professional. I know what you're going through, but I'm not a professional. So take the help of a medical professional if you need. Take medications if that really helps you. By all means, follow what's good for you. But at the end of the day, you will see the phobias are going to be conquered from the inside out. Your brain simply won't feel so scared anymore. And finally, let's talk about the little things that changes. For example, when you're anxious, you have so much noise already in your head. You can't really take too much noise, can you? You can't take sometimes loud music. Your heart rate goes up. You have insomnia. There's so many different things that can happen if you have anxiety. But those you'd be amazed to see how much it changes. Your heart rate will be under your control again. You will be able to breathe and bring your heart rate down so that you can sleep more. The noise around you are going to be way more manageable. You're going to be able to ignore a lot of noise. It won't annoy you as much, or it won't annoy you at all. And at the end of the day, you will start seeing all these different positive changes within yourself. What used to bother you won't bother you anymore. What used to trigger you won't trigger you anymore. This is the beauty of recovery. I know it's hard for you if you're struggling right now. I know it may be hard for you to think that you're going to get there, but you will. And once you get there, you're not going to feel the same way anymore. So try to already feel like you've recovered. Try to act like you're already there. And suddenly your brain will start thinking that, yeah, you're already there. And that's one of the best ways to actually march towards recovery. So that's it for today's video. Please leave a comment if you have anything to share. I would love to know what you went through and how you're working on your recovery and where you are on your recovery journey. Also, click the subscribe button on the bottom right to subscribe to my channel, and click the little bell so that you get notifications every time I post a video. Until next time, love, peace, respect. Namaste.